Hey everyone, welcome back to the English Learning Podcast. I'm Tom, and as always, I'm joined by my awesome co-host, Jenna.
Hey there, I'm Jenna, and we're so glad you decided to tune in today. We've got a fascinating topic, one that gets people talking and thinking in every culture, the afterlife.
I've actually been looking forward to this episode, Jenna. The afterlife is one of those subjects that just grabs you, whether you're super logical, super spiritual, or somewhere in between.
Exactly. And talking about it in English is a great way to not only expand your vocabulary, but also dig deeper into how people express beliefs and questions like these.
You know, Jenna, something that's always struck me is how people from all backgrounds seem to ask, what happens after we die? Why do you think we're so drawn to that question?
It's such a core curiosity. I think part of it is just wanting comfort when we lose someone, but it's also about making sense of life itself. The big unknown pulls us in because it's the one thing we all share.
That makes sense. I remember as a kid, I used to ask my parents about heaven or ghosts, just trying to wrap my head around the idea that life could keep going in some way.
I had those same conversations, and honestly, they haven't stopped. Even now, these questions shape the stories we tell and the words we use every day.
That actually reminds me there are so many ways English speakers talk about the afterlife. Phrases like passed away or rest in peace come up a lot. Why do you think we use those instead of just saying died?
It's interesting. I think softer language helps us process loss. Saying passed away can sound gentler. It almost hints at a journey rather than an end. Plus, cultural beliefs leak into language over centuries.
And sometimes people even use humor or metaphors like calling it kicking the bucket. It seems like we're always searching for ways to talk about something that's pretty tough to face directly.
Absolutely. It's a coping skill in a way. The vocabulary we use reflects both our discomfort and our hopefulness about what comes next.
Let's get into some of those beliefs. Some people imagine a paradise, others talk about reincarnation, and some see the afterlife as a great mystery. Have you noticed how these stories differ when talking with people from other cultures?
Totally. I've had friends from different backgrounds share traditions about ancestors watching over us or souls coming back in new forms. It's really powerful, and the English words we use have to stretch to cover all those ideas.
What I love is how even within the same language, people can use totally different images. Like, one person might picture clouds and harps, while another describes energy moving through the universe.
Yeah, and sometimes people just say, I don't know, and that's okay. It leaves space for all kinds of possibilities.
Funny enough, my own views have changed a lot over time. When I was younger, I saw the afterlife as a clear-cut thing. Now, I'm more comfortable with not knowing. How about you, Jenna?
I relate to that a lot. I used to look for definite answers, but now I find comfort in the mystery. The older I get, the more I think the big questions matter, even if we never settle them.
There's almost a freedom in saying, I don't have it all figured out. It makes life feel a little more open somehow.
Absolutely, and it's interesting how that uncertainty can lead to deeper conversations with others, especially when you're learning a new language and sharing your thoughts.
That makes me wonder, do you think our beliefs about the afterlife actually affect how we live day to day?
In a huge way, actually. For some, the idea of being remembered or leaving a legacy motivates them to be kinder, or to make the most of their time. Others might focus on making peace or living in the moment.
And for language learners, that's such a powerful angle. The words we use to talk about death and what comes after can really reflect those deeper values.
Yeah, you can pick up on what matters to someone just by the phrases they choose, or the stories they share around loss and hope.
Speaking of phrases, could you unpack a few more common English expressions people use when talking about death or the afterlife?
For sure. Along with rest in peace, we often hear gone to a better place, or even lighter phrases like crossed over. Sometimes people say, their memory lives on, as a way of keeping someone's spirit alive in everyday life.
I've noticed even in movies or books, folks use passed on or departed. It's almost poetic sometimes.
It really is. And learning these expressions can help English learners sound more natural when they need to talk about difficult topics.
Sometimes, talking about the afterlife can get emotional or awkward, especially in a second language. What tips do you have for listeners who want to express themselves respectfully?
One thing I'd suggest is listening first. If someone shares their beliefs, you can echo their language like using passed away if that's what they said. Also, it's okay to admit you're not sure how to say something. People appreciate honesty.
I've also found that even simple phrases like, I'm sorry for your loss, or thinking of you, go a long way. They're easy to remember and always heartfelt.
Definitely. You don't need fancy words. A little empathy in your voice carries the message, even if your grammar isn't perfect.
After all this, I hope our listeners see that talking about the afterlife isn't just deep, it's also a fantastic way to expand your English skills. What's your favorite way to practice these kinds of conversations, Jenna?
Honestly, I love role-playing different scenarios. Maybe you're comforting a friend or discussing beliefs with a classmate. Trying out phrases like legacy or eternity helps you get more comfortable. Plus, you pick up cultural nuances.
That's such a good point. Even watching TV shows or reading stories that touch on these topics can boost your listening and reading skills and introduce you to new expressions.
And don't be afraid to ask questions. If you hear a phrase you don't understand, it's okay to pause and get clarification. That's how real learning happens.
You know, after all our chatting, I keep coming back to how talking about the afterlife connects us, even when we don't have the answers. There's something comforting in that, don't you think?
Absolutely, Tom. Sharing these questions and stories, especially in another language, is such a human thing. It reminds us we're all searching for meaning in our own way, and that's okay.
And for our listeners, if you ever feel nervous about these big topics, remember, the curiosity you bring to English is already moving you forward.
Exactly. It's about growing, not just as a language learner, but as a person. Every new word or idea is a step on that journey.
Well, Jenna, I think we've covered a lot of ground today. Before we go, I just want to thank everyone for joining us on this reflective and, hopefully, inspiring episode.
This was such a great conversation. And for everyone listening, if you enjoyed today's episode, make sure to subscribe to the English Learning Podcast so you won't miss our next chat.
We love hearing from you, so leave a comment or send us a message with your thoughts, whether about language, the afterlife, or just life in general.
Keep practicing, keep reflecting, and keep growing. Until next time, thanks for listening and take care.